All right. Welcome to another episode of Connect and Politics. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
All right, so this is Jovan Lovelace coming out of where I'm located currently, coming out of Elk Ridge, Maryland, Howard County. My favorite snack is gummy bears. Are gummy bears a snack, or would you call that? Would you put that in
Yeah,
the snack category?
yeah.
I
I,
mean,
I
I
mean,
mean, gummy bears, right? If like, okay, maybe you say candy, and then a
uh,
snack is probably popcorn for sure. Everybody know
yeah,
me know. Me and Act Two microwave popcorn go back to like the early '90s. You know what I mean? So that's a real
yeah.
thing. But so does gummy bears. So it's like, all right, go ahead. That wasn't a complicated question. See how I'm gonna answer these things? They're gonna be real. They're gonna be. I second guess myself, so you're gonna get the whole thing. As simple as that, Mike. I hope you got a lot of time on this thing, because I mean we might go a little longer than your usual guess.
What's your, yeah, do you remember your favorite food as a child?
Favorite food as a child is spaghetti, and it still is as a grown man.
Yeah?
Spaghetti and meatballs. My grandmother, Georgia May Lovelace, used to cut up the noodles for me. It's
Nice,
crazy.
nice, nice. Okay, what's your fondest memory from childhood?
Fondest memory from childhood is watching Michael Jordan go 6 for 6 for threes against Portland. And I want to say it was game 2 of the finals in Chicago. And it was in my grandmother's living room. I'll never forget it. We sitting there eating spaghetti that she cut up the noodles. And, he hit his first three. We were like, all right, Jordan, because, back then, people don't realize Jordan really wasn't known for his jumper. Like,
Right.
he was MJ with no J. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but when he was hitting, he was like, oh, it's going to be a good night. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he hit the first three. He was like, okay, MJ. He hit the second three. We kind of set up a little bit. He hit the third jump. We was like, oh, he on fire. At by the fourth jump, we standing on my grandmother's furniture. You don't stand on a black woman furniture from the South. She was about to turn the game off. Okay, grandma, okay, grandma. We barely got to see the sixth one. When he hit the sixth one, we ran out the house. And I didn't even get to see him do the jump like that. I saw that on the replay. But yeah, that's my fondest memory as a kid. That's when I wanted to. I was like, man, I'm going to the NBA. Like, I was going to do that. You know what I mean? Seriously. I just
So,
never hit my growth spurt, Mike. If I hit my growth spurt, I'd have been in it.
it'll be over. It'll be over. So, how do you think? How do you think that childhood helped groom you into the person you are today?
So I mean, yeah. So let's take that memory for example. Like it made me a dreamer. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't looking at Michael Jordan as I was a fan, but I was also like, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole Gatorade be like Mike. So it helped shape my ability to like look at what people would say is the impossible, Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And want to reach for that. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
I saw myself doing that. You know what I mean? So it shaped the rest of my adult life because that's my approach to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like for me as a child, there was not going to be anybody bigger than Michael Jordan. Like God. You know what I'm saying? And it is Michael Jordan and God. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my child. So at that point, if I saw him as somebody that I wanted to emulate and I actually tried to do it, I didn't see him as bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? And bigger than
Mhm.
things that I could aspire to do. Man, when it comes to these corporate executives that I work with, it's gonna be the same. You ain't Mike bigger than Michael Jordan. I can do what you do. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It shaped my ability to dream, set goals, reach for goals, my work
Yeah.
ethic. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he kind of represents. You know what I mean?
Nice, nice.
People gonna think
What?
I just watched The Last Dance and now all of a sudden, no, I go back to I can tell you stories that ain't on The Last Dance, but all these little youngins catching up now. Yeah, that's our
Yeah,
life right there, Mike. That's our
it's
life.
good. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. This is it's. I mean, it's like the perfect timing too, right? Like everyone's home, and for a lot of sports fans, they didn't get to, especially the younger ones, they didn't get to experience that live. That
Right,
Bulls era.
right, right.
And so being able to relive that, and of course, it's not the full picture because you're not, there's so much that's missing from it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but it's still capturing a lot of what was around during that time, and it was an amazing. I mean, it was an amazing time.
I mean, and that's just sports. You asked me, you made me answer the most memorable. But if I
Yeah.
just talked about it, I mean, I got so many things. Like, I mean, I think every generation, I used to hear my grandfather talk about the back in the day, in the good old days. Y'all don't know what y'all miss.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm saying I'm in the same position. Like, I'm looking at my kids, and their generation, and the generations a little bit before them, the kids that's growing up listening to, you know what I'm saying, like mumble rappers and stuff like that. It's like we looking at it like, dang, y'all don't know what y'all, what y'all, So I just feel like we at that age where we looking back at our time, like how the old heads used to do us. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's of course there's the nostalgic, extra value that you place on your time. But I also do think though that there was, that era, the 80s, 90s. There's some things that happened then that are just, especially in as it pertains to sports and art
Right.
and music,
Right.
just groundbreaking. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want it to seem. There's things that I look at and I know it's nostalgia, right? Like I grew up in a very, 2-bedroom apartment. It was a modest, environment. I got way more room now, and I'm, but I'll drive back around to my old little neighborhood, and it's like I'm having this moment, like, oh man, I missed this. This was crazy. What are you missing? Like, are you serious? Like, it wasn't bad, but I would not move back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, I value it from a nostalgic perspective. That's one thing. But talking about our music, talking about sports, I don't feel like I don't know that that's nostalgic. Like I feel like you look at how they do 30 for 30s and all that, and they go back and they do these biographies. Most of that is like our time, like when we was growing up. So it's like groundbreaking. We saw gangster rap start. You know what I'm saying? We lived New Jack Swing. You know what I mean? We saw hip hop go from like just being a house party to being Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? We saw Tupac and Biggie. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and they're still relevant. They're still talking about that today. The Last Dance, and that's a thing right now. A 10-part series. That's our child. That's what I'm saying, Mike. It's not like we're overemphasizing things. Not for that. Like me wanting to go back to my 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, that's nostalgia. You know what I mean? But nah, man. We.
No, I mean, part of the reason I say it is because everyone know I have a bias in music. It's just like I still listen to, I don't even try to listen to a lot of the music. Like I don't even fake it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still listening to Only Bill for Cuban
36 Chambers and all that. I know. You be quoting lyrics, but this is how I know that's what you was doing. Because we be in other chat forums and stuff, and you'll quote lyrics from rap songs like real fresh, like you still know them. And I'm like, damn, I ain't heard that song in a minute. You're still bumping on that. Like that's
I'm still, I literally still, that is what I'm listening to. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even try. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not, I'm sure it's great music, but it's just not for me. Like it's not.
But you missing the vibe though, Mike. Music is vibrations. You missing.
I feel you. Like if I'm at a party or if I'm at a cookout or on the radio or whatever, I can vibe to it. But like something that has, some strong meaning to me.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not it. So speaking of your upbringing, what are the most important lessons you learned from your mom and your grandparents?
Important lesson. Well, it's funny you said my grandparent. I think about the same grandmother that cut up my spaghetti. You know what I mean? The most important thing that she told me is she wasn't really spiritual. She was more like religious. You know what I mean? She read her Bible forward and backwards. She's the only woman I know that I think read the Bible 3 times, you know, like from Genesis to Revelation, like the whole Bible, you know, word for word. You know what I mean? But she was just religious. And I say that because she was like very down to earth. You know what I'm saying? You remember my grandma, but like she wasn't like somebody that wasn't approachable or nothing like that. So she's very down to earth. So people would sometimes question like her, if she like, you know, oh, you go to church, but she'll tell you about yourself. You know what I mean? And like in no uncertain terms. You know what I mean? Like she was that. But she loved God, right? So she used to tell me, she said, don't worry about what they say about you. Because she know people judge us. Oh, you go to church, you sing in the choir, but you'll still cuss somebody out, you know? She's like, don't worry about what they say about you. Just know, just make sure you know who to call on. You know, so she'll say, you know, you can say what you want about me, but I know who to call on. You know what I mean? That was the most important lesson of my life right there as a kid, because it was like, just know who to call on. And that's, I don't care what your religion is. You know what I mean? If it's call on yourself, cool, or call on that inner or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? I'm coming from a Christian perspective, you know what I'm saying? But that was it. So then that whole journey and the whole journey I've taken and growing up and understanding myself, mind, body, and spirit, that's the foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice. What do you do? What are your favorite things to do for self-care?
Favorite? Is it like one thing, or I can name?
No, you do your top 3.
Top 3, self-care, definitely working out. And I can't believe I'm fond of running now. That's crazy. You remember Mike doing suicides, playing basketball? I remember thinking to myself, if I don't have to run, I'll never run. You know what I mean? Running was punishment for me. It was like PTSD. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's become very therapeutic now, man. When I did that, the triathlon, I was training and stuff, and I had to, you know, so running, you know what I mean? But working out. Yeah. Number 2. So, okay, let me throw this out there. Facials. I got, man, I didn't kind of got caught up in this whole, I don't know if it's corporate America or what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't grow up knowing what no facial was and going to a spa and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, you get a little bit of money, you go into a fancy, Mike wouldn't even call my gym, you wouldn't call it a gym, it was like a spa. You know what I mean? And they got an esthetician in there. You know what I mean? And I got Lord down there, man. And let me tell you something, getting a facial, you know what I mean? It's the best money. So getting a facial, that's self-care. You said 3. Shopping, man. You know what I mean? Shopping. I don't know if that's self-care. I look at it like it's a morale booster. So self-care psychologically. I work hard, don't got nothing to show for it. You know what I'm saying? You got a family that you do everything for, you know, and you like, man, they good off of my back. But when you do something for yourself, you know what I mean? Shout out to Nip. I got this from the Marathon store. I don't know if I can shout out things on your thing, Mike. Mess up your check, your sponsorship with Puma or something. I know this got to be sponsored by like a soccer or football brand. But anyway, self-care, yeah, for sure. Buy my clothes and do what I do. Go to Vegas. Hey, yeah, you know, that's self-care. Vegas. Put that in there too, Mike. Number 4.
I figured that would be on your list. Is there something that you're looking forward to that excites you?
I'm looking forward to retirement. I'm getting tired, man. You know, I'm looking forward to retirement. And, you know, so my grandfather, outside of Michael Jordan, I got to shout out my grandfather, Fred Lovelace. He's been like okay, at the end of the day, that's who I want to be when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? Always dress real fly, could dance, roller skate. He driving all the Cadillacs and Jaguars and, you know what I mean? Just fly, you know what I'm saying? Pontiacs and all that, you know? Just a cool dude. And the matriarch of the family, the man of the family, and retired at 55. You know what I mean? I was at the retirement party. It was dope. You know, he had a whole, so I said, man, I looked at him, I said, okay, that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? You get a single family house, nice land, you know, 3-4 cars, you live modest, you enjoy your life, you take care of your family, travel, dress good, look good, whatever, retire at 55. You know what I mean? So I look forward to retirement. I'm like, hey, man, I got about 16 more years. And to be able to say that is crazy. Because, you know, we celebrated a little boy in the family that turned 16. I remember he was born. And that wasn't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I only got 16 more years of this. Man, let's go. So I look forward to that. I mean, if everything continues going in the direction it's going, it looks attainable, you know?
Nice, nice. Well, what do you do in your professional life, and how did you get to where you are?
Oh, yeah. So information security, risk management, information assurance, cybersecurity, IT security, whatever the new thing is to say about it. I mean, it's become a hot industry now because everybody's concerned about privacy and data. But yeah, that's what I do. You know, and how did I get into it? So I stumbled upon it. You know, I was kind of in between opportunities. You know, I was looking to get off of one contract, and I was looking for, you know, some new opportunities. And I was in the telecommunications, or teleops as we call it. You know, IT operations, doing network administration, network engineering. So I was looking for that type of work. And there was a job advertised, you know, with Host Marriott Services, HMS Host. People that's ever traveled to airports or rest areas on the you know, highways or whatever. If you look at your receipt, it's going to say HMS Host. They the companies that run all those food courts and the airports and the malls and all that. They lease out the space for like McDonald's, Burger King, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so they're a subsidiary of Marriott. So I went for an interview for a position in the field I was in currently, network administration, et cetera. But the company that was advertising a position and me to the client, they got the job description wrong. So I come in there with my resume. First of all, I came late, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't really want to go to the interview. I got pushed to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, all right, you right. Let me, you know, and I mean, I was so disrespectful. I folded the, my man Victor G might see this. This is my OG that put me on. So he'll know that this happened, but I don't know if he know I did this. I came with my resume and I like folded it up in 4 pieces and put it in my back pocket. Like, that's how disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just at a point where I was just like, man, whatever. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to have a position or want a new position. I wasn't like jobless. So, you know, I was carrying it like that. I don't recommend nobody move like this, but I go to the interview, I straighten out my resume because I walked in the facility like, this is kind of a nice setup. I might want to be a little more professional for this thing. And we're talking just like me and you are talking now. Let's get a background. And then he goes, so do you know what job you're interviewing for? And I was like, yeah, it's right here. I got the job description. He's like, looked over it. He's like, yeah, that's wrong. That's not. He's like, that's not the job. He was like, I mean, we've been sitting here talking. He said, and I've developed an interest just in you and your background, and I feel you would be a good fit, but I don't know if you're going to be interested in this position because I can see that you were sent here about something else. So I was like, well, shoot, tell me about it. Like, what is, he's like, and then he talked about security. He talked about confidentiality, integrity, availability. He just drilled it in him. The security triad, CIA and PCI. You know, this is what the regulation is, payment card industry data security standards, you know, managing a data network that processes credit cards and stuff like that. Mm. So I'm listening. I'm like, man, this sounds real interesting, you know? And I got predisposed to security when I was doing an internship at the FDA. So I said, you know what? I said, I am interested. I like the, you know, I said, look, I said, if you're willing to take a shot, I'm a quick learn, and, you know, and I can come up to speed. But yeah, I like to try this out. It's entry level, you know what I mean? And so I did it, you know what I mean? Now, mind you, I was doing that, but then I was working at night, you know what I mean? Some people would say that's double dipping, but it's not, because when I get off of work, I can do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to go to sleep, I go to sleep. If I want to go party, I go party. I decide to go to work. You know what I mean? So I get off of work and host Marriott Services because it's a new position. I'm not sure how this is going to go. And it's a whole new field. And then I go clock in at night and work my night gig. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm working off of like 2-3 hours of sleep. But I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm moving. And man, I mean, I got there and about 6 months into the position, I mean, I realized this is the future. You know, this is crazy. And we had an incident. Well, we had a proposed incident where somebody's, you know, a hacker had reportedly compromised one of our systems. And we was investigating. And I mean, I'm sitting in there with the executives, the CIO, the director. I ain't never been in a position where just like that, I got access, and I'm a stakeholder. I'm somebody. I'm a value to sit down with the executives because you know it's security. And my OG that brought me in, you know what I'm saying? You know, he had a differing of opinions in terms of how to handle the situation. So they parted ways. We'll just say it like that, right? But I'm stuck there. Now, this is the guy that brought me in. But I'm moving at that point. I'm into the industry and now I'm running the joke. Cause I'm like, you know, he kind of tell me on the back end, because you know, we was talking, I knew he was gonna make a move. He told me, he said, listen, nobody's in the seat right now. It's yours. Run with it. You know, it's like he gave me the, you know, and I did. And my director said, look, until you hear something else, you know, maintain the program. You know, and that was it. That was it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Curtis Bennett. 2007, 2008 is on. I'm running the program, man. And you know, we did it. We did the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? For all the years I was there. So I walked out. I left on my own terms, moved on, and been doing the damn thing ever since.
Nice, nice, nice. Is there anything you've learned recently that changed your perspective on a subject, product, or idea?
Anything well, I wouldn't call it recently. Uh, yeah, well, let's say recently. I mean, but this is all around investments, right? So, you know, um, thanks to Mr. Idio Keatis here, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm a little more of a seasoned investor. And so recently I was looking into the concept of stock splits and how, you know, there's different type of splits and everything, and how some companies, um, you know, split in a way that would encourage the shares to increase. And then they split in a way that, you know, I think it's reverse split. And then there's another type of split. But anyway, shares increase, shares decrease, and how that could affect the stock price and the value. And it was interesting, you know, to me, and it kind of benefited me in terms of just maturing myself as an investor, because like I was told about this particular stock, and when I was told about it, it was like damn near a penny stock. You know what I mean? But it had went from being like one of the, you know what I'm saying, top, you know, stocks trading at like over $100, $200 a share. And now it's like hovering around, you know, like well, when my man put me onto it, it was like $2, $3 a share. So he's like, man, get the hell out of here. You know that's going to jump back up, man. Let's get in now while it's pennies on a dollar and, you know, whatever. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to watch this thing. You know what I mean? Because I'm a value investor. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm going to look at the moat and do all my research, you know? And I mean, it was kind of risky. So I'm like, let me just see. I slept on watching this, kind of raising a little bit. I wake up and that thing is at, I think that thing was trading at somewhere around $40, $50 a share. And I'm like, nah, I lied. It was like $80. It was like 80 some dollars a share. So I was like, I'd have messed up. I mean, my stomach turned. You know what I mean? No, Mike, seriously. I looked at it like this. I can never tell y'all. I was never going to tell y'all until I found out what happened, right? I was like, dang, I didn't even buy that stock. And I could have like 1,000 shares of that stock right now, Mike. You know what I mean? And that joint trading at $80 from the last time I had seen it was $8. I said, damn. So I said, hell no. I said, I got to look into this. What the hell happened? You know what I mean? And I'm looking into it, man. I found out how they split it and how it ain't all they basically took away from your shares, and they give you 10 for the price of one or 100 for the price of one. So if you thought you own 100 shares, you really only own 10. So the $800 you put in is no different than the 8,000 you thought you had. Hell no. So it showed me, because I think your question was talking about something I learned that showed me how to look at the value of things different, you know. everything glitter ain't gold.
Yep.
Everything glitter ain't gold, because somebody that didn't take the time looking at that will be like, damn, well, let me try to just put in what I can put in. You know what I mean? And you'll pay top dollar for a stock that ain't worth nothing but $7, $8. Ain't that a damn Mike, I feel like they got me like that back in the day, but on something else. You know what I mean? It's like how the club up used to have you think that the club was popping because they got people waiting outside the club, a long line.
Exactly.
It is empty in that damn thing, and they charging out the roof, and you think Jay-Z or somebody, and ain't nobody in that damn club. That's any club, there go another lesson. We dropping jewels, Mike. Anybody you go past the club and there's a lot of people outside, don't go. Just keep going. That club ain't worth a damn. The jump that's popping is like it's a little bit of people because they trying to squeeze as many people as they can in that jump. You know?
So speaking of jewels, can you think of any advice that you would give your younger self?
My younger self. Oh man, what would I tell my younger self? So many things, man. You know what? I would tell my younger self, you know, I mean, because, you know, we grew up on rap lyrics and some of that stuff, you know, I mean, was, yeah, like, if you didn't have no father figure, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes that stuff was like game, you know what I mean? So, you know, I think Jay was talking about coming out of Marcy, and, you know, he said, you know, only way you made it if you punk rock or had a jump shot, you know what I mean? And, I mean, I wasn't pumping no rock, you know what I'm saying? I think I told on Max thing, I'm an unsuccessful thug, you know what I'm saying? I like to believe that at one point it was appealing. And you got to watch Mac. I don't want to see, I'm shouting out other broadcasts and everything, but my man Mac, we did this and I broke that down. So that's a whole nother thing. Or we can get into that later on your thing if you want, Mike. But what was I talking about? So, hold on, you made me lose my train of thought, Mike. Hold on, we were saying...
The advice you give your younger self.
I'm a younger self. Okay. So I'm not pumping rock, but I'm shooting a jump shot. And at some point I discovered music. You know what I mean? I started messing with the music. Because it was like, okay, this Jay-Z got out, you know what I'm saying? I think he said, nah, you rap, pump rock, or have a jump shot. You know what I mean? So it's music, drugs, or basketball. So I started messing with the basketball and then, you know what I'm saying, music. I would tell my younger self, because there was a point in time when I discovered security, right? And I discovered a career. Because, okay, this particular individual, I'm going to go back a little bit. The Victor G, my OG that gave me my shot. He was listening to all this stuff I was doing. You know, Mike, at the time I was leaving no stone unturned. I'm in a band, I'm DJing, I'm rapping, you know what I'm saying? I'm working at night. I got a day job. I'm doing all kind of stuff. And he asked me, he said, well, what is your profession? You know what I mean? In my mind, I was a mogul. You know what I mean? What you mean? I'm a mogul. I'm a CEO. I'm P. Diddy. I'm building what? You know what I'm saying? Mike, I was doing it, right? I mean, I'm all over the place. I'm everywhere you ain't never there, right? He said, what is your profession? I said, damn. He said, you sound like you a jack of all trades, but you a professional of nothing. Like, you're not a professional. What is your profession? What do you specialize in? What are your core competencies? You know, words like this, you know? And I had nothing for him. When I became a professional, and I'm like literally got my credentials as a professional, I realized at that moment, you know what I'm saying, and I bought my truck. I bought my first truck. And I realized at that moment, I said, damn, I don't have to pump rock, rap, or shoot a jump shot. You know what I mean? I would tell my younger self that. Because I'm not going to say I wasted time, because I learned so much pursuing those goals and those dreams. But there was some letdowns. You know what I mean? Like when I had to accept the fact that Allen Iverson talking about practice, like I related to that because I didn't like the practice. But I realized like Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan because he practices. And, you know, I didn't want to practice. Damn, I'm not going to be in the NBA. I barely played my senior year in high school because I didn't want to practice. You know, it's like, I'm done, you know? I had to deal with that. Like, damn, Jay said, pump rock, shoot a jump shot. I'm not pumping rock. Now I'm stopping shooting jump shot, but I'm still rapping. So maybe I'll do it that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling I'm saying I would tell my younger self, you can still make it without having to be an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all like, you know, black people, and I don't want to be controversial on your joint, but you know, a lot of times it's people in this country that see us as entertainment. You know what I mean? And we see ourselves that way. You gotta tap dance for these people. Nah, I did it with this. And when I realized I could do it with this and I could present myself, you know what I'm saying, with the same charisma and the same natural instincts, you know, interpersonal skills, teamwork, all the stuff you use to pursue all your other things, when I could do this doing what they do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I realized, but see, by the time I realized that, Mike, shoot, man, I was probably 27, you know? I got to think about it. Yeah, I think I was like 27. 26, 27. So I would like to have known that younger, you know?
Yeah. And what would you say is the best advice you received?
Best advice I received. It's so much. I gotta say, which one was the most important? God bless child got his own. You know, God bless child got his own. I mean, because I was gonna say some other things, but they're not like advice as much as the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But advice is God bless the child that got his own. Have your own. Get your own. You know what I mean? And, I mean, because I apply that to everything. Business, you know, assets that I own. You know what I mean? I mean, I grew up in an apartment for 17 years. We paid rent. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it. You know what I mean? My mother used to say, do as I say, not as I do. That might be some other good advice. You know what I mean? But, you know, do as I say, not as I do. You go own something. You know what I mean? I don't own this. That shout out to her, though, because she did buy herself her house, and she's embraced the concept of that. She owned her own car, the house, you know, she's doing all right. But at that time, she wasn't talking about her current predicament. She was talking about her future, where she going to where she wanted me to go. So now I'm in a position I can show them. I don't gotta say to them, do as I say, not as I do. Do as I do. You know what I mean? Don't believe me, just watch, is what they say. See, Mike, you're missing the vibes. I'm on the vibes, I'm with the times, Mike. Don't believe me, just watch. You wouldn't even know what that was. See what I'm saying? That's a whole song, Mike.
Oh man, that's crazy. That was a good one. All right. What has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
Toughest thing I had to tackle would help me get through it. Man, my Uncle Tyrone passing. You know what I mean? Shout out to my Uncle Tyrone. His son Blake, man, this is okay. So let me deal with that real quick, and then I'll go back to answer your question. So he only had one son. That's my little cousin Blake. You know what I mean? He getting married. Yes. I had to think about it because it's two things. He getting married and he having a baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm reliving that all over again. Because I'm like, damn, my Uncle Tyrone, the dope that he was here, you know what I mean, for all that. Yeah. So, but no, it was the toughest thing, man. He was the first person, if I'm trying to make sure I'm saying this right. Oh, well, my grandmother, but not my great-grandmother who used to cut up my noodles. She passed away as well, but later on. But my grandmother, my mother's mother, she passed away when I was like 5, 6. But I was so young that, you know what I'm saying, it's hard to really process it. But I'm saying he was the first person. Technically, he was the second person because my grandma was the first person that passed away that was really close to me. But he was the first person that I can recall. You know what I'm saying? Outside of my grandmother. So it was tough. And then, I mean, the way he went, you know what I mean? It was, you know, leave out the details, but it was just preventable. I'll say that, you know? So, you know, I mean, I got to see that firsthand. So going from, I graduated and then getting into college, and it was probably my second year. Yeah, it was the second semester of my sophomore year in college. You know what I mean? But the process started probably like my junior, senior year in high school, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was tough because this the guy that showed me, you know, so I told you what I do for a living is revolved around IT, you know, technology. And he was the first person to show me the game and, you know, the technology game. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was doing back in the DOS prompt days when you had to before Microsoft had Windows and all that. You know what I mean? I'm talking about you had to know commands and, you know, like the big monitors and all that. So he knew technology then. So he showed me that then. I got interested in computers. I knew what I wanted to do in high school. I had my major when I was a freshman because of him. You know what I'm saying? He taught me how to play basketball when I was, you know, well before that. So this is that guy, you know what I mean? And then he go, like I see how he goes away. So it was hard, but how did I deal with it? You know, to be honest with you, I did it for like a year. You know what I mean? Like, you know, y'all might remember this time, but y'all might not know what it was. But yeah, like 2002, I just crashed. You know what I mean? Like I went into a shell. I was kind of like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I did. Like I just grieved. You know what I mean? For like a whole year. You know what I mean? And you know, I wouldn't recommend nobody do that. But I was talking about this earlier, and it's a luxury. It's a luxury I had. I had the ability to. I was functioning how you go through the motions. I was going through the motions. I took a semester off of school. I took 2 semesters off of school. I was working an internship. I was doing things, but I really wasn't, you know, I was there, but I wasn't there. Going through the motions. But I was still grieving. I was chilling. And I had the ability to do that because my mother had surrounded me and set me up with resources to say, okay, do what you got to do. You have a place to lay your head. You got food. You got a vehicle. I was driving, you know, that's when I had the 81 Cadillac Fleetwood, you know what I mean? And I still could just live my life, you know what I mean, under the way she set me up. So how did I get through it? I didn't for like a year. I just sat down and then, you know what I'm saying, counseling, becoming spiritual and not religious, you know what I mean? Like diving into spirituality because I was going to church, but I was doing it as a religion and not like as a relationship and as something that's an extension of me. You know, it wasn't spiritual. It was just like a routine. And then after that, I just landed on the ground, man, and I just put my feet down and say, you know what? I realized that he will want, I think I tapped into his spirit too, like how he would want me to carry, you know what I mean? And what he would want me to do. Rony Rome, you know what I mean, as he called himself. Like, he was like Martin before Martin. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. Like, I don't think you ever met my Uncle Mike, but he was that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine Tupac in terms of, like, his, I could give a, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was raw. But imagine Tupac that had the sense of humor of Martin. That was him. Shout out, that's Uncle Tyrone. Tupac and Martin together. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
You know, but I got through it by realizing, okay, I need to pick up where he left off, you know? And that was it. It was just a light switch. It was just boom, you know what I mean? And I mean, you know, it wasn't, I can't say it was like boom. I mean, it was like, you know, a gradual, but once I ascended, I never looked back. And I used it as a milestone. To say that was a moment to, you know, a whole year for the most part, you know, give or take, you know, of grieving and dealing with something. You come out of that, you ain't got nowhere to go but up, you know. Don't kill you, make you stronger.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. All right. For a fun question, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do?
Oh, man. That's not a good question, Mike. It's not a good question because, you know, there's people that's going to be offended by this, you know? You know? But see, this is what we're going to do. No. Exactly. This is what we're going to do. And if everybody, based upon my response to this, the premise of this whole interview is me, right? You said, Mike, this is about me. This is my life. You know what I mean? I'm an only child. We'll set that premise. You know what I'm saying? So I know how to just love on me. I love me. You know what I'm saying? So if I won the lotto based upon my life and my premise, what would I do?
Yes.
First of all, I will put my, not even 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I apologize to, you know, employment. I love y'all. But I would, I can't say I would just leave them hanging. But I might, though. Because I got the lotto. I'm sorry. Y'all going to have to figure that out. I'll pay you back. I'll give you some money. I give you the money back. I give you my whole year's salary. I'll do that. But I got to go. I'm done today. You're not getting 2 weeks. It's over today. I quit my job. I stopped working right away. Then, damn, Mike, I ain't gonna lie to you because this is about me. What am I gonna do? I won the lotto, right? I'm calling up all the homies. I'm telling y'all, you're coming with me. You're getting, it's Mike, everybody, y'all getting a plane ticket and you're getting a hotel reservation. You know what I'm saying? At the Cosmopolitan with a Fountain View suite overlooking the Bellagio fountain. You understand what I'm saying? I've been there before. That's what I do, right? Y'all got your own suite. You know what I'm saying? With the Fountain View joint, right? And we going there and we gonna get lit. You know what I'm saying? Mask on, everything. I don't care. It don't even matter about the virus. If it's going on right now, we going there. We're going to experience it at social distancing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we going to do it. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. And I would just enjoy that. I was shocked. I make sure all my dudes was good because I want y'all to know, despite this, we still family. And I got it, you got it. You know what I mean? And then I would go home and be responsible with the family and do that whole thing. Look, I'm supposed to say that with as much zeal. Hell no, like that's just what you do as a, as a responsible adult. but what I would first do is I would go enjoy myself, man. And of all the places I can go to in the world, you see what I'm saying? I could go to anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Las Vegas. Now I'll go to all these other places later. But that is nostalgia for you right there. Because I know what Vegas was for me when I didn't have the lotto. But to get the lotto, oh yeah, I'm going to Vegas, man. We doing it. Taking all my folks with me. We going to Crystals, that mall right there. We shopping. We what? Are we doing that? Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Mike. You got me thinking about it. I'm had to go play the numbers. Hey, I'm gonna have to go play the numbers, man. I got family that play the numbers every Sunday, but.
Oh man, that's crazy. As a parent, you have 2 young kids. What values are you hoping to imprint on your kids?
Just if I don't do nothing else, make sure they know who they are and whose they are. You know what I mean? So you can take that from spiritual perspective, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, like their connection spiritually and their faith, or you could take that just to the natural genes. You know what I'm saying? You're not bigger than your name. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a name that I built and I'm giving you. You know what I mean? So don't mess it up. One thing is crazy. A lot of people don't think about this, but when you hear about the people that has done some really heinous things and they become infamous, they stain their names. You know what I mean? Like the name Dahmer. You know what I mean? What do you think about when you hear Dahmer? You know what I'm saying? You don't think about somebody that could just be your next door neighbor. You think about somebody you need to watch out for because he might have them bodies in the refrigerator, But that name is only associated with one person in that family. All the other people could be good, upstanding citizens. They, good people. But nah, Dahmer, you know what I mean? So who you are and whose you are. You belong to your parents that birthed you and made you and gave you an ID. You belong to, a God that created you and has given you hope and faith and stability. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, if nothing else, I feel like from that point, then everything that you do, whether it's education or your profession or whatever, you doing it with that, with that intention to sustain who you are and whose you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's good. Is there anyone that you would like to thank or express your appreciation for that you haven't had the chance to?
Damn, Mike. See, that's like the lotto question. You know what I mean? Like it's the lotto question, Mike. What are you doing, Mike? Then you might not be able to air this at the end of the day. You might not be able to put this on your channel, or you're gonna have to cut it up. You got to take this question out and take the question about what would you do if you hit the lotto? Take all of those out, Mike. Because this is the thing. Those are questions that, as much as because I'm gonna have to give the same disclaimer and say, this is about me, this is my life.
It is about you. You know what I mean?
But Mike, you can't say who would you like to thank? Because damn, you know what I'm saying?
No,
You already.
no. The thing is, it's you thank a lot of people in your life, right? But this is someone that you haven't thanked or expressed some appreciation for yet. And
Oh, I
even
have
more,
not.
yeah, you have not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So even more so, I think part of the reason I even have this included is because I notice, a lot of people especially when someone passes, everyone's talking about, give, so and so was so great and this did this or they taught me this. We need to give people their flowers while they can smell it. So people always say this when someone is dead. They literally
Right.
the whole flower thing never come up when people are alive. You know what I mean? And so it's like this weird dichotomy that exists in society. So one of the things I want to do with this is give people the opportunity to express thanks, or gratitude to people that, for whatever reason, they may not, normally do it. Of course, everyone would give thanks to their mom or dad or wife or husband, like those kind of things. And sometimes you even want to do it on a channel as well. You want to immortalize it. So, it's your show.
I like how you set that up, Mike. That's good. That's good. That keep us from getting into awkward. Because you didn't ask the question like that, though. See what I'm saying? And people that come on this show got to know how to keep you from putting them into some funny situations. You know what I mean? See, I'm hip to this, Mike. I've been doing this with you before the YouTube. You know what I mean? So that's good. Somebody who I have not told, and it's funny. So that takes out a lot of people because one thing I do is I let people smell their roses. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I don't, I mean, I'll get this out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if I've told you. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I would say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I met you in the 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? Well, I think you was 7th grade, right? When you came to
Yeah.
BK or whatever? Okay, cool. So, because I didn't know if you was there before I knew you, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so you got there, I knew you, you know what I'm saying? This dude, you know what I'm saying, bow-legged dude hooping out here, got a whole different swag about him, you know what I'm saying? He not from here. I can't really tell where he's from because he got an African vibe about him, but he might be from like New York or something, you know what I'm saying? Little did I know it was both, you know what I'm saying? So, but then you to engage you was different. Like at that time, so this is where the story I told with Mac. But you remember back, and I was trying to remember the artist. Who did the song Roughneck? Was that MC Light? Gotta watch out, gotta get a Roughneck.
Yeah,
okay, all right. I don't know if you know how significant that song was for me in my childhood. You know what I mean? Before that song, it was Another Bad Creation, Aisha, you know what I'm saying? Was a girl I never had, want to get to know you better, Playground, Crisscross, The Boys, Tevin Campbell. That's what it was, Mike, we growing up. That was, but then NWA hit, you know what I'm saying, Ice Cube, and goddamn, Yo-Yo and then MC Light, you know what I'm saying, all the hardcore rappers. So then being a thug, being hardcore, was more the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like, that the pretty boy, you know what I'm saying? The boy band, you know what I mean? Like none of that. You know what I'm saying? It went from Boys to Men to Jodeci. You know what I mean? Boys to Men had suits on. Jodeci singing love songs with Timberland boots on. Wu-Tang Clan, all that. Mike, So what am I supposed to do with that? I didn't grow up in that, So I had to put the Timbs on. I had to try to be, you know what I mean, with the ladies wanted. You know what I mean? That's your childhood. But then I see you coming there and you're not trying to be hard. You're not trying to be a thug. Mike, you remember, and I said this to Mac, at one point, it wasn't cool to have good grades. You remember that? Like as a black man, you was on the honor roll, you was kind of like, so like you was, you know what I mean? You could be tested for that. What you doing, your schoolwork, and look at you, smart guy, you know what I mean? Yeah, but so I used to keep it to myself because I knew I was getting a whooping. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they was I was getting whoopings. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't, or punishment, you know what I mean? So I had to get good grades, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't tell nobody I got good grades. But here come Mike. And I think you was in like honors classes. You was taking like college courses or something in middle school. Mike was that guy, you know? So I'm like, Mike is smart as hell, but he's still fresh, you know what I'm saying? And he's still kicking it with us. Like, he's still a cool dude here, and he's just himself. And everybody accepted him like that. You know what I mean? So I said, damn, I'm going to do that. That's what the hell I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? So I said, thank you, because I said, look, I'm going to do me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to let Mike do him, but I'm going to be me. And people going to have to accept me the same way they accept Mike. Hey, Mike is cool. Jovan is cool. I'm not trying to be a thug. I'm not trying to be, you know what I mean? And Phil can attest to this, you know, because you came in there like you know what's crazy, Mike? You came into middle school like a grown man. You know what I mean? I feel like you had a beard. I feel like you had a beard and everything. You was like 12 years old. You had a deep voice and a beard. Like, I felt like you was driving. You came into middle school like a grown man. I got people that go back with us and you know what I'm saying? Banneker, I'm going to shout it out. And Phil and everybody can attest to this and say, yeah, Mike was a grown man. You know what I'm saying? So I thank you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I've already gave you that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll put it on your show. But somebody who I've never thanked, and I probably never will, unless they see this broadcast, is Jeffrey Durant. You know what I mean? Do you know who that is? That's my father. Mike don't know. Mike has known me since I was what, 12 years old. And you didn't know, and that name, now if I said Tyree Lovelace, who was that?
Your mom.
Now, you know moms, you know what I'm saying? But I said Jeffrey Durant, and you was like, who the hell is that? Exactly. I thank him, you know what I'm saying, and never thanked him because, you know, it's crazy. I was listening to Fabulous latest mixtape. I'm trying to, look, I got to shout it out because, I vibed out to the summer shootout, summertime shootout, 3, coldest summer ever. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Fab had a very highly publicized dispute with his baby mother and his father-in-law. You know what I mean? Like, Stab was out there. Fab, like I said, Stab. Fab was out there like he's going to stab something. I put it all together, you know what I mean? But Fab had a bad situation. He put it all on wax. But he was talking about, you know, how he worked that out and everything else like that. But then he had a line in there he was talking about, you know, somehow, you know, not having fathers made us want to be better ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's this obsession and passion I have with the kids that, you know, I don't think I've ever stopped and just recognized where it comes from. And it comes from wanting to be better. You know what I mean? Like, you know, him and my mom's was married, you know what I'm saying? But I think he told me, I think my mother even told me, like, you wasn't no bastard. Like, you was born in a, you know what I mean? Like in a marriage, you know what I'm saying? We was together. But, you know, they went their separate ways, you know, one way or the other, for one reason or the other. And I was like 2 or 3 years old, maybe. I might be getting the years mixed up. But anyway, I had my daughter and, you know, I'm dealing with their mother. And when she was like 4, I recognize, like in my mind, I recognized it like, yeah, I'd have stuck around for longer than his ass did. You know what I'm saying? That was my thing. I wanted to be better than him. And I still want to be better than him. You know what I'm saying? And we attempted to reconnect, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we in different places in our lives right now. But it's no bitterness. It's no hardship. It's almost like Antoine Fisher. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like abused enough and like, you know, but he went back to confront the people that he didn't do right by him. You know what I'm saying? And let them know, like, look, I done made it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like, I want to thank him because it's like I get that chip on my shoulder knowing that, yeah, I came up without that presence of, you know, like that's what the culture like to hear. Like, oh, you know, the young black guy didn't have a father. You know, it's like, we're still, our stories are entertaining for them. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Yeah. But it's cliche to say that. But I can thank him because I know without that experience, I might not be what I am. You know, and that's why I try not to put the pressure on my son because he doesn't have the adversity I have. Yeah. You know, how do you introduce your kids to adversity? You protect them from it. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like I want him to get a little bit of that because he don't really got that dog in him. You know what I mean? Because he comfortable. He comfortable. He live a life. I can't relate to my kids. You know what I'm saying? You can't relate to your kids growing up, man. Like our kids, they don't know what we, they don't know that life, man.
Yeah.
Life is on the boulevard. They don't understand the boulevard. They ain't never experienced the boulevard.
Yeah, it's crazy. These kids. It's good though. It's a good.
It's progress.
It's progress, and it's good. With given a lot of what we know and the experiences we've had, I think we can, you know, give them a huge leg up, right? So they don't have to experience things to learn it. And there are going to be a whole bunch of stuff they're going to experience themselves, that's going to be challenging and help them grow. But they can learn a lot from our experiences.
Yeah. We the prototypes, and that's one thing I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have too many prototypes. I feel like I'm first generation. A lot of things, money management, 401k, investment. you know, I mean, I find myself, man, talking to my mother about her plans. Because I'm like, hey, you need to get your finances and your situation in order while you have the ability to do so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you become my responsibility, like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because it can come down to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I don't want to be in a position I got to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna take care of you on my terms. You know what I'm saying? And on what I can do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to be in that position. I want you to be able to do like my grandfather. My grandfather, now I told you he retired at 55. He's 81. So 81, 82? 81. He's 81 years old. Chilling. I think he'll be 82 this year, if I got it right. Or maybe 81 this year. But chilling. You know what I mean? Like, doing as he want. He don't need nothing, This whole quarantine, I've been over there one time.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's crazy. All right, for our final question, how do you define success?
Being blessed to be a blessing. You know what I mean? Being blessed to be a blessing. I mean, I used to, when I found out that I didn't have to pump rock, rap, or shoot a jump shot, I was just happy to make it. And I felt like success was me doing all the things that these guys had to pump rock or rap or shoot a jump shot to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was what I was doing. And then when I got to a point where I superseded my own expectations and I couldn't really want for nothing. Like I had to create things. Like I went to Annapolis yacht shows. I'm like, man, I gotta need a yacht. Maybe not, you know what I mean? Like I just need something to aspire to. Like I was on that. I could have like financed one of them Jones two at the time. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey man, I had the Gucci loafers on, man. I was in that hey, I was in there talking to the owners, man. I'm like, what you need you need me to get pre-approved for something? Finance the hell out of something. Bank, give me some money. Let's get the yacht. Goddamn. But the only reason I didn't get it is because it's the upkeep.
Yeah.
The upkeep.
Maintenance is deep.
Yeah, I could make the payments on it, but So anyway, success is beyond that. It's beyond the yacht, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The glitz and glam, what my individual accomplishments. It's being able, go back to rap lyrics, you know what I'm saying? Jay talking about if everyone in your clique is rich, your rich is rugged, because if anyone falls, you'll be each other's crutches. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? But so being blessed to be a blessing, everybody around me being on and being in a position to put people on. You know what I mean? And I've been able to do that recently, and it felt better than anything I ever did. Yeah. Whether it was ministry or giving people money or whatever. Anything I've ever done good, I've extended job opportunities to 4 people. Yeah, if I'm trying to remember, 4 people in the past 6 months. You know what I mean? Yeah. And all the 4 of them got jobs. They got the job and they're getting money. And so there's paychecks in people's hands from your boy. You know what I mean? That's success. I know I'm successful at that point. I don't care what I'm doing. We ain't gonna talk about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm able to help them out. So then you gotta know if they doing all right, damn. You know what I'm saying? If you got it to just give that to them, you know what I'm saying? You can't be doing too bad yourself, you know?
Indeed. Well, it's a perfect way to end. We connected.
Mike, this is gonna be your highest rated thing, man. You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. I'm trying to tell you, Mike, this is it, man. This is it. I only gotta look at nothing else, especially Jade, because I know Jade be giving how to interview me. Me and Jade got this thing, man. And Jade definitely. I didn't even look, yo, Jade. At the end of the day, like Mayweather don't look at his opponents when he go in the ring. He just dusts them. That's what I just did. I dusted at least Jade's interview.
Nice. We'll probably do a part 2 with I would get a couple of you guys in the room together.
Yeah, let's do it. Whoever else, especially Jade, Mac, whoever. I dusted all their interviews. Put them up side by side and have your viewers vote on the dopest joint. My joint was emotional. It had humor. It had some serious moments. You know what I mean? Mike, I did that though. I did that. You got to keep all this too.
I haven't stopped the recording. So thanks a lot for being an entertaining guest, to say the least.
Man, dope, man. For sure. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.